Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. Now, in this video, I would like to briefly describe the DevOps environment I have worked in. That is platforms, tools, and scalability. Now, for platforms, I've worked in Render, where I created a web service and a PostgreSQL DB service. Now, I've also worked with GitHub Actions as a platform. That is when developing the CI/CD pipeline. I've also worked with Docker. That is for the local development. Now, when we come to tools and technologies, we have number one, infrastructure. For infrastructure, I've worked with the Docker Compose, GitHub Container Registry, with the mutable shell, of course. Then, when it comes to CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment, I've worked with GitHub Actions with the quality gates. That is quality gates such as PyTest, MyPy, RAF, Band-Aid safety. MyPy is for type checking, RAF is for linting, then Band-Aid and safety packages are for vulnerability checks. Then for observability, I've worked with structured JSON logging with struct logs and health checks such as, let's say, a URL such as /version1 /health/ready for testing if the app has started, and trace IDs. And for security, under the tools and technologies, I've worked with I've been building non-root Docker images. That is, yeah. And therefore, I've also managed secrets via Render dashboard. And also, I've implemented a 72-byte password truncation. And also, 72-byte password truncation is important because it is the bytecrypt only picks the first 72 bytes. So this prevents DOS attack whereby an attacker is able to submit 10 MB size of a password. And this is, when I implement 72-byte password truncation, it helps with preventing DOS attacks, denial of service attacks. And also rate limiting, I've implemented it on the production side. On the render side, I've implemented using Redis, and also on the development side, I've implemented it using slow APIs. And now, when it comes to testing, I've tested my system using an isolated PostgreSQL database that is OmniAI_DB, and I've implemented 90+% coverage enforcement, meaning if the test coverage doesn't add up to 90%, then the entire pipeline fails. No deployment is, no push, no deployment is done. So there will be no pull request by the render cloud. And I've also mocked no mocking of core logic. So when we come to scale and impact, when it comes to scale and impact, I've done what we call zero-touch deployment. This means that when I push my code to main, it is automatically tested in GitHub Actions, then automatically built in GitHub Actions, then automatically deployed to production. That is render pull, does a pull request from my GitHub repository in less than 5 minutes. Now, when it comes to production hardening, I have a full audit trail and tenant isolation and security hardening. Now, full audit trail means that I'm able to use trace IDs to filter out events that occurred that are relevant to a particular incident we're trying to respond to. Then when it comes to tenant isolation, each tenant is verified if they're a member of a particular organization, a particular tenant, that is the user ID is validated if it's a member of a particular tenant ID, and is allowed to access that tenant ID. Then when it comes to security hardening, I've implemented security such as no secrets in code, like JSON Web Token, secret key is not in code, database URL is not in code, and so on. Now when it comes to cost efficiency, I've done all this using free tier service. On free tiers service, for example, I've used Render free tier, which is usually available for just a couple of days, then they suspend your database. So I've developed the web service using free tier and the DB service using free tier. Now, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.